From the C-suite to the street, welcome to another edition of Street Talk Live, featuring industry leaders and special guests, up-to-the-minute news and trending new developments, your questions answered live, and much, much more. And now, live from EPSG's corporate headquarters in Melville, New York, it's time for today's episode of Street Talk Live.
Welcome everybody to today's Street Talk Live. Just like we're trying to do month in and month out, we really get the opportunity to sit down with some of our best partners. So today we're able to bring Brad Sommer to the table.
Nice to see you.
Thanks for coming in today. Appreciate that.
My pleasure.
So we got some great questions for Brad. Hopefully people can gain a lot from his success, because he is definitely one of our top agents consistently, one of the top people at Optics. He was part of our inaugural President's Club member here, as you can see on our pins here. There you go.
That's right.
And we're really proud to have him be able to shed some knowledge for you guys. So just some basic questions for you, Brad. So how long exactly have you been in the industry?
So I've been in the business about 5 to 6 years.
Excellent.
And when I started, I think the philosophy was to get every account I could, every relationship I could, and spread my wings as broadly as I could. And that's how I started. And then as I grew, I tried to develop certain niches that would give me more focus.
Nice. Yeah, I could tell you focus somewhere, because 5, 6 years in the industry, although I'm sure it's felt like an eternity at times, believe it or not, a lot of our partners have been in the industry 15, 20 plus years. So there must be some magic behind this, because I can speak personally. You've been able to build a very nice book with us, and what do you think your secret was in a relatively short period of time to get your residual book to the level it's been?
So a couple things, and I know we're speaking to people newer in the business and veterans, so I want to try to speak to both. So again, I think for newer people, you really got to be as open as you can to every opportunity, whether it's a very small account or very large. You want to treat them all the same, and you want to hustle and get out there and do everything you can. You want to leverage every relationship you can that you've ever touched, whether it's from going to school, in other jobs, in relationships socially, professionally, and leverage everyone you can. Over time, I think you do want to develop some niches. For me, that became professionals and B2B, meaning business to business merchants. But that could be anything. It could be any type of niche that you have based on your past or present life. And why are niches important? They're important because I think you can be more focused, and you can develop a specialty in those niches. So when you're speaking to leads, you really are an expert in those areas.
And do you think, compared to when you first started in this, is that a big change? I mean, has your approach changed? Did you start with some stuff that you've abandoned completely, or have you just kind of nurtured your approach, or how is that kind of?
It's a great question. I do think you have to learn to manage your time as you have a book of business versus when you start. With that said, I still have the mentality. I mean, I do have minimums. I kind of feel like unless a merchant's doing 10,000 or more, I don't know if I can really add value or whether it's really worth it from a profitability perspective.
So you'll walk away from that if it's below 10 grand?
Under 10,000, I won't do, because I don't think I can add value, and I really don't think I can really make any money. Maybe in the cash discount world, it's a little different.
You bring up a good point. I'd like to, see how your thoughts are. And
Sure.
I think sometimes in our industry, we are dealing with a lot of medium to small size businesses. Even the bigger businesses are really medium size, right? And I think a lot of times people undervalue their time, especially veterans in this industry. So, I can only assume that some of our viewers probably are shocked at the fact that you would just walk away from a business, right? But I've always been of the mindset that, the only appreciating asset you have is yourself, right? And as you get smarter and you get better, it's important to give value to your time. And it seems like you do the same thing. Would you agree?
Definitely. You have to value your time. You have to determine what's the best use of your time. And as you grow a book of business and you want to keep growing, if you don't do that, you can get lost and waste time on things that won't help you grow your business, and then you could actually your business could start shrinking. So my goal is to always grow my business by 20% a year. And as I've gotten bigger, I've had to really manage my time better. So what does that mean? That means for me, being in types of merchants and industries that maybe are easier to support. Again, there's a lot of ways to do this business, and I know people that have grown tremendous books of business just focusing on restaurants and retail. And don't get me wrong, I have retail and restaurant business. But for me, based on my background and my education and the contacts I've touched, and it's funny, at first it was by accident, and that was the reason why, because those are kind of the people I knew. But over time, the niches I've developed, I've realized are great time, are very valuable from a time perspective. And what I mean is, I work a lot with doctors, dentists, and lawyers. Once you set them up, they don't require as much day to day.
Sure.
When they have a problem, they don't have a line of people, so it's not as urgent. And because of that, I probably get less calls than someone who only has a retail and restaurant book. And they have higher average tickets, so they're more profitable. So for those reasons, and it was by accident first, and then I realized, you know what? That's smart time and business for me. I can make more money per account and spend less time on it.
Well, I must say, man, that is a gem, man. I must say that is some great advice, and I hope people are listening closely. So, you just ran through the gamut, like you said. You've got a couple restaurant businesses. You focus on B2B, professional services, stuff like that. Just out of curiosity, like right now, like it might change next week, but like if you could just choose, what's your number one business type right now? What's your sweet spot?
So I'm going to answer that in a second, but just to finish on the thoughts you and I both were conveying, let me be very clear. I have some very large garage relationships, some retail smoke shops which pay me some of my most profitable accounts. But to be clear, on a day-to-day, they require the most time. And it's great. It's time well spent. But if I only had those, I would not have nearly as much time to prospect. So with that said, I have those accounts, but to answer your question, my two sweet spots are B2B and professionals. Sure. And what does that mean? That means in B2B, that's any business that's customers are businesses and not individuals. Why is it a great business? It's undersolicited. They're not getting touched for a few reasons. One, people aren't doing it, sure, the salespeople. And two, they have much more barriers of entry to be solicited. Sure. So that's a huge advantage right there versus a restaurant or retail. So when I get in there wasn't 100 people before me trying to solicit that business.
Absolutely.
And two, why is it great business? A, where's the value? We actually can save them more money generally than other industries, and that's probably a discussion for another day, but that's one, sure, fact. And then two, large volume, less transactions, so more profitability and less time spent for me.
Sure. Yeah, and I think what he's talking on there is about the enhanced data and level 2 and level 3 processing. So if you want to hear more about that, we'd love to kind of go into that.
And that ties into how did I know about that and how did I get support on that? And that's working with EPSG and the support staff, whether it's Jeff on the sales side or the tech side in terms of implementing the gateway properly. I get that support, and then I can become the expert. And that's another thing I'd like to talk about for a minute. I think a lot of salespeople here kind of do the bare minimum. I mean, that sounds a little harsh. I don't even mean it negative. I mean, agreed, they know a little bit of what they know, and they never expand their knowledge base. I go hands-on on that gateway that adds a lot of level 2, level 3 value on pricing, but I become the expert on how to implement it. I go in, I don't rely on EPSG's tech people to implement. And by going in and sitting down with the merchant or the operator or the CFO, whoever it is at the company, they look at me different than just a salesperson. And any of you could learn what I learned in that, but no one does it.
Well, that's a great segue. I was going to ask you, because this is a EPSG podcast here, so I'm just kind of curious, how has EPSG helped kind of support you in those endeavors?
It's a great question. There's a lot of ways to answer it. First and foremost, again, though, it's your business. You own it. You need to learn what you think you need to learn to be better than the next person.
Nice.
With that said, EPSG will help you be that person. Jeff and I, Jeff spends time, Jeff is a busy guy, and we talk all the time about the business in general, specifics about the verticals I'm on, and hopefully maybe I teach him a thing or two even now and then.
Absolutely.
But more importantly, it's the give and take to develop your expertise to become more than the next guy. With that said, EPSG, their technology department and their support, they're there for you to help you. So I would say it's more on you as you having your own business to figure out what they can do to help you. I think a lot of salespeople don't utilize EPSG, so they think EPSG maybe doesn't have as much to offer as they really do. So you have to decide what's important in your business, then sit down with someone like Jeff or someone who then puts you in touch with the right tech person or partner support person to help you either in sales and tech or support to help you. But they're here to help you, but it's not up to them to figure out what you need them to do.
Look, that's what sets some people aside, and Brad, you definitely falls into this. I mean, you're not waiting around for me. You're going to make it happen either way, so that's great. So.
Right, I mean, they laugh in here. I mean, I'm lucky enough because I'm in New York that I can be in the office a lot, but, like Rich Sr. laughs because I'm running around the office. So I think this ties everything together. Like, do you ever slow down? I'm like, yeah, but not when I'm here. I'm here to work.
Sure.
And I'm here to get everything done as quickly and efficiently as possible. And I think if you live that way every day and how you try to build your business, it's going to grow. And something else Jeff and I talked about I'm going to jump into is how do you grow your business and how do you prevent it from becoming stagnant? It's not a magic formula. What it really is activity and being busy and being out there. I mean, right now it happens to be what we're in February. Things have been slow for me kind of the end of December and January, and I think it is for a lot of people. But instead of using it as an excuse and say that's why I haven't grown any accounts, I look deep inside myself and say, what am I going to do now to change that? So I'm in one very high-end networking group that I don't always utilize, but in the last 2 months I've scheduled about 20 appointments, going on one right after here, and I've developed some real relationships from that to get busy again. And they haven't turned into accounts just yet, but I know they're going to over the next month or two, and I feel really good because I'm really busy now and active, and that's going to turn into accounts.
Sure. So I know we speak a lot. I know you set a lot of personal goals for yourself and stuff, and maybe selfishly, just kind of curious, what's in store for 2020 for you? What do you plan on, like new territories and stuff you plan on trying to get into?
So first, from a bigger picture, math-wise, once you have a relatively decent-sized and mature book, I think your goal should be 20% growth of, in the end, it's revenue, whether you want to turn into accounts or volume to get to revenue,
sure.
But it's revenue. And if I keep doing that, obviously I'm going to make more money, but I'm going to know my business is growing. In terms of approaches and what's in it for me for this year, again, for me, I'm trying to develop more associations and programs where I can get lots of accounts on a consistent basis within the B2B space and the professional space. And I have some specific opportunities that I'm working on with Jeff, but those are things that are going to become consistent, allow me to get consistent accounts. The other thing I'm going to talk real quick about is what I call my referral program, which everyone should be doing it in one way or another. And what does that mean? Every day I'm probably taking at least a quarter of my day to try to speak to people who can refer me business. Whether that's a referral from an existing merchant, whether it's from a friend, whether it's from someone I can give business to, I'm always trying to grow my network of people who can refer me business. And whether that means they're doing it because I'm referring them business, or more importantly, what I always lead with is, I want to pay you. I want you to be tied into the residual, and EPSG can help you with how to do that financially. But if I can tie them in by anywhere from 10, 25 to even 50% of what my percent residual is, I know they're going to be incentivized to refer me business. I have about 12 people now that I'm paying one way or another. They're not as robust as I would like, so I have a real goal to bring in another 10 or 20 people that can really refer me business, because to really grow your business big time, that's the way to do it. Because going back to our first comment, there's only so much time in the day. So you have to service and support your book and grow sales. So if you can have other people refer you business and you give them a piece of it, that's the best way to grow your business. One of my best days was like 6 months ago. I was driving to the city, and I was in a lot of traffic, and I got 3 different calls from people with a potential referral.
Wow. And
I was like, wow, I'm sitting in a car in traffic listening to radio, and I have 3 potential deals today. How much work would I have had to put in myself to do that? And that's a really exciting thing.
Yeah, tough day, huh? Yeah, yeah. I know. I'm super excited about some of the stuff we got going on this year too. I'm looking forward to working with you there. Okay. So let me just wrap it up with this. You know, if you just wanted to just give one quick tip to all our newbies, our veterans, like what did it take for Brad Sommers to be President's Club member, top of the class, so to speak, in the EPSG team? You know, what does it really take day in and day out?
I'll say 3 things. 1, it's activity and being in traffic. Whether you started today or you have a huge book making a lot of money, you have to be active every day in front of merchants, leads, and people who can refer your business. If you do that every day, you're going to build a network of names that can eventually, one way or another, get you more business. 2, it's be focused. Whether it's, if you're new in the business, you take any account, or whether you really focus on certain niches. If you have a focus every day of what you're trying to accomplish, it's going to be a productive day, whether you open an account or not. And 3rd, it's have a plan. It's what are your goals? What are you trying to do? And to be accountable to yourself. Everyone, it's human nature to make excuses. The business is too hard. It's too competitive. Technology's getting in the way. It's a slow month. All that's baloney. Every day, you're accountable to yourself. You're focused on what you're trying to accomplish that day. And if you do that on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis, you'll have a successful year and get those 20% plus growth. That is my goal.
So you guys heard it here. Be active, be focused, have a plan. Something tells me that works in a lot more places than just credit card processing, for sure.
It's true.
Yeah. With that being said, thanks a lot. I really appreciate your time, Brad.
Anytime.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys got any questions for Brad, please feel free to put that in the question log. We'll be sure to get that back to you as soon as possible. But again, thanks again, and really appreciate everybody being here for Street Talk Live. We're bringing you good content each and every day. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, all the social media platforms. Well, we'd love for you to share this with as many people as you can and help us get the word out there. So thanks again, everybody. Have a great day.
For more information on any of the topics covered in this episode of Street Talk Live, please contact the EPSG sales team at 1-866-373-2249 or via email at salesteam@goepsg.com. We look forward to hearing from you. To enjoy this and previous episodes of Street Talk Live, please visit us on the web at www.goepsg.com. Street Talk Live is an EPSG production.